Mr. Chairman, thank you to you and Ranking Member Wyden for bringing these bipartisan measures before the committee today. I'm especially pleased that the Taxpayer Protection Act of 2016 that we will be considering does include 4 provisions pulled from the Taxpayer Bill of Rights legislation that Senator Grassley and I introduced last summer. Senator Grassley spoke about that a little earlier. We sponsored our legislation not only because of abuses of taxpayer rights we've seen at the IRS in recent years, but also because there's been nearly 20 years since Congress enacted comprehensive taxpayer rights legislation. American taxpayers deserve a tax collection agency that is accountable to them and that respects their due process rights. So among the other measures, today's legislation includes our provision, Senator Grassley and I, that will codify the electronic record retention requirements issued by the Office of Management and Budget and the National Archives. It is critical that the IRS follows the law when it comes to maintaining employee emails, especially in circumstances involving potential misconduct. I'm also pleased that the bill adopts an amendment that I offered with Senators Grassley, Roberts, and Enzi that will require the Government Accountability Office to study the impact on taxpayers in states without a permanent IRS appeals presence. We need to make sure that taxpayers in South Dakota and the other 15 states affected have the same access to appeals and settlements as the rest of the country. And finally, I would note that the legislation to prevent tax-related identity theft incorporates an amendment that I filed with Senator Stabenow, which you mentioned earlier, encouraging stiffer penalties and greater enforcement when it comes to phone scams where someone impersonates an IRS official in order to extort payment. We know that these phone scams are a growing problem, and we need to do whatever we can to combat them. Mr. Chairman, today's markups are an important step forward in combating tax-related identity theft and in protecting taxpayer rights. The Taxpayer Protection Act of 2016, as I said, builds upon the 5 provisions from the Grassley-Thune legislation that were enacted into law last December, but more remains to be done. I look forward to considering amendments today to improve these bills, and I hope the legislation before us moves forward in a bipartisan manner so as to get to the President's desk as soon as possible.